Good morning, everybody. Diggs here. It's another beautiful day out here in the Pacific Northwest. I hope all of you guys are having a great start to your Sunday morning. Today, we're going to be talking about the JP banners that came out with King Mont. We're going to be talking about maybe the optimal path as a global player you should be thinking about as King Mont comes out this week. And we're going to talk about whether I think you should chase or not chase for this double cost unit that's coming out. Now, you've probably seen the title. I don't think King Mont is a unit you should be chasing for. Even if he had a guaranteed pity, I would caution chasing for him. And the reason I think that is because we have such opportunities to just get his shards right now. And the long and short of it is Queen Helena is going to be coming out in the future. If you're going to be chasing for King Helena, you might get King Mont along the way. I just feel like it might be a waste of Visior to pull for him or to try and pull for him, depending on maybe we get like a special global banner. Maybe he's going to be purchasable. It's going to be hard to see, but I think for now it would be best just to go for his shards. And let's talk about this. Let's talk about kind of the reason his shards are going to be so good right now and why I think you should be maxing out your shards for him. JP got 3 banners, right? They got the step up that we normally get, the 14k step up, but they had 4 featured units on it, right? They had Gilgamesh, Medina, Ziza, and King Mont, and they only had 240 shards on the banner. This is one of those situations where I am a little cautious about pulling, and I'm going to see how many shards are on the banner before I pull. Usually we get about 320 to 400. The break-even point, right? The point where it should be, you know, a good amount to pull would be about 140 King Mont shards. Yes, you have a chance to pull Mont on this banner, but it's really going to depend on the number of shards and the units on the banner, right? If we only get 240 shards like JP got, if you think about it, without the additional rate up of King Mont, it might actually be better for you if you're limited on Visior, particularly if you're a free-to-play player, to pull on the normal banner for Mont and try and go for a pity pull where you're going to be able to pull him no matter what, right? And I don't know if King Mont's going to be pitied, but I think that's the trend we're going towards, and so I'm hoping he will be. The Gil pull that's coming out is 3 times daily. And in JP, they have 2 different versions of the Gil pull. When the King Mont Gil pull came out, it was 50 million, 50 million, 50 million, and it was 50 million for each pull. The second pull was an MR plus in the last slot, and then the final pull was guaranteed King Mont shards, and each pull gives you 10 shards, and those 10 shards are 3 each. So you get 30 shards for each pull, and you basically are guaranteed 3 King Mont shards on the last pull. This totals to 1.05 billion Gil. Now, there was a little bit of a snafu in JP and a little bit of outrage / frustration with this. And so in JP, they did change the Gil pulls, not for King Mont, but for Final Fantasy VII and so forth, to be 5 million, 10 million, and 10 million. So that would be a total of 175 million instead of 1.05 billion. Whether or not we get this change in global is not known. We normally get the changes to these types of situations when they do modify it in JP ahead of time. I'm expecting us to get the 25 million daily, but if we do get the 1.05 billion Gil, I would not pull on this. And that's because Gil is such a valuable resource for me, especially in the EX era. I think for a lot of people, they have spare Gil, and I would recommend pulling on this. But you have to consider you're only guaranteed, if you pull every single day, to get 21 King Mont shards. So that's basically saying for 1.05 billion Gil, 2100 Visior basically is worth 1.05 billion Gil, which I don't think is a good exchange at all. So definitely I would caution you on the Gil pull. Definitely be aware and check the rates when it first comes out. I'll definitely be talking about it in my news video, but keep that in mind. The free daily 10 pull that they got in JP also had an opportunity to pull King Mont. I'm expecting we'll get this in global. This would be pretty normal, I would think. And I would actually say, you know, this is one of the better things, like pull for King Mont this way. right? Like, get his shards, you know, before you start pulling on the step ups, before you start pulling crazy on like the 9-step, just do your free pulls. Wait a week, right? Draw it out as long as possible. You know, King Mont is a double cost, half pull rate unit. It's just like Bahamut. He's going to be half the pull rate of Yuna. Like, it's going to be painful for a lot of players. And I remember when Ruinstern came out, I remember Monty spending so much money trying to pull for Ruinstern, and I would never want to see another player go through that. And so definitely, like, don't chase. You'll get them. There'll be ways to get them in the future. His shards are going to be so easy to get that, you know, just go for his shards. I'm looking in particular at, you know, the spring medals, which JP didn't have, right? And the spring medals are going to have King Mont on them because they do say that they're going to have unit and vision shards released by 5/12, which is going to have King Mont on them. And to give you a perspective on how much value, and I know people hate to have me use that word, but to give you an idea of how much value these medals are, one shard is essentially 100 Visior for King Mont, right? 2K paid for one of the 100 shard medal banners is 100 medals. Depending on if King Mont is 2 medals or 1 medal, because we don't know, right? It could be that he's a 2 medal conversion. It would basically give us 50 shards, which is the equivalent of 5,000 Visior. If it's an @1 conversion, it's the equivalent of 10,000 Visior. We could get 700 medals last week. In total, you should have about 900 medals this week if you haven't exchanged them for 2B or 9S. So if it's @2, you already have 45,000 Visior worth of King Mont shards. If it's @1, you have 90,000 Visior worth of King Mont shards, right? So the spring medals are crazy. If you're going to be spending, which I think most people will be spending to pull for King Mont, right? Because if you've been saving as a free-to-play player, you're probably were saving for Nier or you're saving for Final Fantasy VII, right? So if you are spending to pull for King Mont, you know, these medals are going to give you an easy, accessible way to max out King Mont at a fraction of the price. Now, let's get into a little bit like the price of pity and the amount of free shards that you would get from chasing him. And this is partially why I feel like chasing him is a bad idea, right? If you're chasing King Mont, you're probably using paid Viz or purchasing paid Visior. So what do you get from pulling King Mont other than maxing him out early? About 16,000 Visior worth of shards, about 160, right? You're going to get the challenge board shards. You're going to get the challenge mission shards, right? That's it. You can still get the purchase bonus shards. You can still get the login shards, right? Depending on if he has a pity or not, the pity is usually 40k Visior. Most people, before they go for that pity, though, are going to go for that 14k step up. So kind of at the maximum, Mont is going to cost 54k Visior to pull, assuming there is an actual pity for him. If there's not a pity, I have seen people spend way more Visior trying to chase a double cost unit than actually, you know, 54k. That Visior could have easily been spent, right? Because you're no doubt spending money at that point on getting spring medals and getting Mont shards. And you have to have the perspective, right? Queen Helena is going to be coming out soon, right? Dwayne EX is going to be coming out soon. I think a lot of people are calling this Hell Month, right? And we were talking about it on stream the other day. You know, it's one of those situations where, you know, I don't think it's worth chasing him. It might be worth it to do the 14k step up if there's less than 4 units on that banner. Otherwise, if you're going for him, you should go for the pity. Pulling him only gets you 16,000 Visior worth of shards right now. If you're spending and if you're getting spring medals, that is going to quickly outvalue the amount of free shards that you would get for chasing and acquiring King Mont right now. The moral of the story is that I have seen time and time again people chasing double cost units and suffering, right? it's one of the, like, I don't think it's a good idea. I'm not planning on pulling for King Mont. I am planning on buying his shards, doing the free pulls. Depending on what banners are released, I might do the 14k step up. I know Cabbage in some of his videos regarding King Mont has said that, you know, Gummy was really generous with King Mont shards, and with King Mont, right, you're gonna have a Chocobo expedition as well. What's also not mentioned on here is whatever shards we're gonna be getting from the shop as well, right? The metal shop or the metal exchange shop. So it's definitely information and news that could change. But I really think, like, I think no matter what, you shouldn't chase unless there's either like a guaranteed King Mont, unless there's a guaranteed pity, unless there is some type of stopgap that will guarantee you to get this unit. Because like I said, I've seen people spend thousands for Ruinstern, and that's terrible. And I think the smart way to pull is to get his shards, and, you know, maybe you'll get him on your way to Queen Helena. Right, we're already getting the VC for free. You can max out the VC alongside him. We have Phoenix next week, so we know there's going to be more banners next week with Phoenix. If it's anything like Bahamut, we might get different Mont banners that week as well. It's also possible King Mont could be on the Phoenix banner, like what they've been doing with Final Fantasy X and with Nier, right? We don't know right now, so things to think about. Hopefully this video helped some of you out there. If you do want to support me, make sure you use my affiliate link, dig.gs/coins, if you are planning on purchasing and going after King Mont. As always, everybody, have a great rest of your day, and hopefully I'll see some of you guys on stream later tonight. Talk to you later, everybody.